All right, I guess I'm on the right stream now. Um, Not sure what happened. Let me see here. Looks like I started a second stream on accident. I'm gonna go ahead and get in there and delete that real quick. Um, we got Wednesday, November 10th, and yesterday was pretty wild. Let me delete this stream real quick. Yeah, we saw a big drop across the board everywhere. But before we even talk about that, I'm gonna go over yesterday's watch list and just kind of give some people a chance to get in here, and then we'll start going over some of this other stuff. I see who we got in here so far. JSOB, Slide Dev, good morning. 6-8 Spindrift, Brian, Big Nate, RNXT. That's one that came up on the scanner. So we're gonna go over the day trader stuff right away, and then get into some of the stuff that happened in the market yesterday. AGC. Anyone who jumped on AGC, I'm still holding half my position, but I dumped a lot yesterday. That thing started taking off, but I think it might be still in the beginning stages. Andy Smith, what's up? Dennis D, good morning. Matt C, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. PROG's heating up. Yeah, today's PROG's earnings too. So should be pretty exciting. Mike Kraft, what's up? Scott Russell. All right, so yesterday, there was two stocks, or a couple, I guess, that I was looking at for day trade possibilities. LAZR was one. This is just kind of like how the entire market went. Nothing really popped. Everything kind of crashed right at the open. Same thing with EVGO. I did try to play it here. And I think we got to find the breakout right here at 16 and rode it up a little bit to about 1671. And then I just started noticing like kind of what was going on everywhere, and decided to just kind of stay pat. But the other ones, RBLX was one we were watching yesterday morning. That one started taking off again. But at that time I wasn't even trading. But if anyone was looking at RBLX yesterday, great entry point here and here at 101 and again at 102. That one ended up riding into the close, it looks like. And then INVC was the last one. And not much doing, kind of like the rest of the market, just tanked right off the open. I guess if you stuck around, you might have been able to find a couple things, but it looks like volume dropped off ridiculously later on in the day. Today, really, I'm looking at more of the meme stocks and squeeze stocks, but the two stocks that are really popping out right now, one is RNXT. Okay, this thing's up huge. Closed yesterday at 541. It's at 1420 right now, and we're looking at already 6 million in volume. Float size on this one is 6.2 million, so we're already trading the float this morning. News behind it, so looks like presentation on intra-arterial chemotherapy. Also, looks like on the first it got a buy target of $16 and another one of $15. So, and this was trading at $5. So this is going back to the beginning of the month. It got some price targeted upgrades. Now it's just starting to roll. So if we come back and look at the daily on this one, remember it's trading at 9 right now. Been kind of consolidating down here at 5 for a while, and it's just now getting above here. This one could get some legs today. I mean, obviously you got a gap fill down that's going to be pretty significant, but also if it starts running up and breaks 11-12, this could be a runner today. So this is one, we already have the float being traded. There's no options on this. But yeah, especially when you're looking at a price target of 15, 16, and that also seems to be the recent high. I could see this one taking off. Just gonna check and see with any of these stocks that start moving out of nowhere, what if there's any sort of short interest or anything, especially since there's no options. Yeah, doesn't really look like it. 100,000 shares on loan on a 6 million float. It's not too significant. So yeah, RNXT, and then the other one that popped up was BTB. Okay. Looks like this one started moving back on October 19th. Picked up in volume over the last 2 days. Yesterday, got 30. What are we looking at here? About 30 million in volume yesterday, 30.5. Float size on this one is 35 million. This morning, it's already traded 6 million. So it looks like it's on pace to break yesterday's volume if this keeps up, and it is gapping up a little bit as well. It closed at 160. It's currently trading at 178. Let me go in here and check this out. Looks like no news. 5 days ago, regains NASDAQ listing compliance. So nothing really going on there. Check the short interest. No options on this one either. Check the short interest on it just to see if maybe it's a little bit of a 3% short interest, 4 million shares on loan on a 35 million float. It's about 10% of the float on loan. Utilization's up. I mean, I guess if this thing starts running, it could see a little bit of a pop, based off that, but not really. But I mean, shit, if volume keeps up on this one, there is a gap. It looks like up to $2, and right now it's trading at 178. But it's also going to open up, it looks like, with I guess if it still stays under this range, it's probably more likely that it's going to try to fill this gap up. So, and then if we zoom out a little, that's as far back as it goes. So if all of a sudden we see this thing, really start running, it could hit all-time highs too. So these are the two that I'll be watching today, RNXT, and BTB, in terms of, looking for some day trade opportunities. Okay, looks like we got some more people came in already. Patrick Zane, what's up? Says, good morning, Coach. Clove. Each quarter after earnings, it is a disappointment. Any insiders buying it all for the past 9 months? Do you think tax loss next month will put more sell pressure? We've actually been seeing more buys right now, and I actually thought that the earnings were pretty exciting. Yeah, they were pretty great. The one thing that we didn't talk about yesterday, and it's just because I couldn't find the information anywhere, then a couple people started posting it on Twitter and online, and we started seeing it in other places, but the EPS yesterday, looks like the street estimate was like negative 0.23, like a 23-cent loss, and it actually was like an 8-cent loss, which is huge. I mean, that was a huge beat. So the earnings I thought went fairly well. It was just the stock gets, if you're talking about the disappointment in terms of the share price, yeah. But we kind of talked about that last week that, you know, that's usually what happens after earnings, and with Clove at least is or with highly manipulated stocks, you'll see, great earnings and the stock gets beaten down, and they seems like they're doing this to kind of scare people out of it, get it down lower. Now that the bigger players got confirmation that things are trending in the right direction, they'll hit it hard. Try to drive that stock lower. Hopefully, you sell your shares and it gets it to go even lower. And now they could scoop those shares up at a cheaper price. That's my theory, at least. In terms of 13F filings on Clove right now, looks like yesterday, someone sold all their put options. So that was a put position that got cleared out. That's bullish. We have, looks like a reduction in shares here. New purchase of shares, 12,000, nothing too significant. QuantBot Technologies, 120%, 126% increase in shares. So you're seeing some institutions, kind of come in and still purchase up this stock. That's just an increase. New buy from IEQ Capital. It's an 80% increase in shares. That doesn't make sense to me. Pro Equities. And then BlackRock, 50% increase. That one's pretty huge. So they basically increased their position by 50%, which, now they have 3.4 million. So I would imagine that they purchased 1.7 million, somewhere around there. So yeah, we're definitely seeing institutional, buying. And then you can keep going back to last week. The other big one was PNC, but this BlackRock buy is pretty significant. So I think institutions are this is the game. And we had great earnings across the board. I think amazing, and so I think we'll start to see that reflected soon. The only thing I'm still kind of curious about is no price target upgrades yet. We also have Clove speaking today at the the Credit Suisse health conference today. So we'll see what happens there. Danny did it. What's up? Good morning. Risky Seeds. What's up? JJ. Very Disturbed. Stephen Hudat. Michael. What's up? Kim. Danny did it. Said RIVN, a great day opportunity trade for a quick profit. Is that an IPO today? Yeah, it's not in there yet. Man, there was a couple yesterday that were crazy. Was that it? SOPA? I think it was. This one yesterday, I'm just gonna throw this up. This was a IPO that came out yesterday. Started at 15. If you look at these halts, so this is 827, 828. Then it halted till 848, till 908. Like it just kept like kind of halting around. It was getting all kinds of volume. But then later on in the day, it ended up, running from 31 up to 37. If you played it again, you could have got in at 35 up to 54. Like this one, couple halts mixed in there. Like this stock was just going crazy yesterday, and that was an IPO. I'm always pretty leery about IPOs. If you're gonna play them, my recommendation is don't FOMO in. because it doesn't always happen like this. Okay. There's plenty of times where the very first wick will put it way up here, and now the rest of the day is just a dump off. So you want to kind of sit back and look for those buy signals. And when you get the buy signals, that's when you want to jump in, and just ride it as a day trade. That's my recommendation, at least. Obviously, not financial advice, but don't try to FOMO in thinking that every IPO is going to run from 15 to 54, because you might get in at 20 and then it goes to 10, so those things are pretty wild. Junior Wills, what's up? Zeke Pleat, good morning. Let's see. JSOB, what's going on? Cuckoo Bird. Let me see here. I just saw the where we at? Am I not on live chat? I gotta keep remembering to switch that. There we go. Louis, Josh Stewart, Noah, what's up? Scotty. Scotty says, just wanted to pop in real quick to say good morning to my Clove peeps. Hope everyone has a great day. All right. Scott Russell says B of A price target from 9 to 10. Is that news this morning? I still don't see any price target, anything on my end. Let's see. Yeah, Danny, that's what I'm talking about. Like Coin came out, and I mean, anyone who thought they were getting in, could have jumped in the 400s. That thing shot down quick. Turks, what's up? Good morning. Says, what if we went dark on Clove chatter and out of the money calls? Think shorts and market makers would let it go. Man, I don't know. Probably the only thing is, it's like, in terms of the option chain and everything else, if you look at Clove, IV right now isn't extremely high. I mean, we're talking, I guess it's at 100% now. It was a lot lower last week, but it's kind of getting into that range where it's not even worth pinning. I honestly, and this may sound like tinfoil hat and everything else, and but there's all that recent news. I think the Fed put out something saying that the meme stocks and AMC and GameStop are basically threatening, the markets and everything else. And I'm really, really starting to believe more and more that, it's obviously not just AMC and GameStop, but, I think Clove is probably part of that too. And there's probably a handful of other stocks that just have this hidden short interest, is what I've been calling it. It's like we keep looking at short interest, and you go to something like an Ortex, and you could see, your average stock that, okay, hey, it's sitting at 34% short interest. And I'm sure that one even has some hidden too. By hidden, I mean, through the uses of market manipulation. I made some videos in the past explaining how a lot of that stuff works. That's on a Chalk Talk series on this channel. But, when you go in there and look, and they're, through the means of naked shorting or whatever it may be, they're able to drive these prices down and not have that short interest reported. And I guess where I'm going with this is, I'm really starting to feel like, and I could, and then if you look at the way Clove moves, When GameStop and AMC move, Clove moves with it, and there's a handful of other meme stocks that move with it too. And I think that those stocks just there's so much more invested into shorting these stocks that, like the IV, like everything that I point out about these other squeeze plays that we talk about, it's like it doesn't apply to Clove, and it doesn't apply to AMC, and it doesn't apply to GameStop. Otherwise, there'd be no reason that they're even trying to pin this damn thing right now. If what we're reading on Ortex is true, what the IV that's showing is, I mean, the incentive to pin it shouldn't even be there right now, but apparently it is. And that's why I think there's more going on. I think the stocks shorted a lot more than what's being let on. And I haven't really talked too much about that because I don't want to, be like a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. Like, I truly believe in this stock and where it can go on its own merits, without a short squeeze or anything. But it just seems really shady, that we have such great earnings and we're not seeing the upgrades. Kind of the same way the media works to, not even talk about GameStop, or when they do, they just talk about how it's over and everything else, and not talk about the transformation that's happening, or just everything kind of involved in it. So, anyways, that's my rant for today. I'm not sure if I even explained that correctly, but I just think there's more to it, and it kind of goes on what you're saying, Turds. Like, with the market makers pinning it and everything else, it wouldn't make sense for them to be applying so much pressure to a stock that, if you look at Ortex data on it, and I'll pull that up because I know, you're looking at IV that's sub 100%, short interest at 12. I mean, that's high for a regular stock, but low utilization. Like, these aren't the type of numbers that scream out squeeze play. And the IV you're looking at on Clove aren't the type of numbers that scream, let's pin this to max pain, but yet they're doing it. So, yeah. Anyways, that's enough on that. Michael says his financial advice is to hit the like button. I love it. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, Josh Stewart says when it happens, GME, AMC, Clove, and a couple others will run. I think I really see it the same way. Shares to borrow have been rising almost 10 million. I think Al said in this video. See, I think he's going off of I could be wrong. I didn't watch the video last night, and I know Al knows what he's talking about. Very intelligent dude. I think he might be going off of like that Fintel and iBorrowDesk. They're only reporting off of one broker, so it's kind of hard to say off that. You're talking about one. If that's what you're talking about, like shares available. Like Ortex doesn't show us the shares on loan or available. They just show us what's on loan. And then if you look at Fintel, on the other hand, they're showing us, what's available, but they're only getting their numbers, I believe, from one broker, and then they're estimating it out. So it's really hard to, I still think that Ortex is kind of like gives us a more complete number because they're pulling from more than one lender. But anyways, let's get on to start talking about some of these other stocks. So if you're joining a little late, RNXT and BTB are the two that I'm going to be watching for day trades today. I want to start off with the SPY. So yesterday, we saw this sell-off early in the basically as soon as the market opened, and it pretty much flushed out everything. I think a lot of that was Tesla too. If we come back and look, Tesla kind of fell off this cliff early, rebounded back and kept going down, and then when you look at other stocks, and I know sometimes you're only focusing on your stock, the one that you're invested in, but I mean, Clove did the same thing. You could pretty much pull up anything yesterday, for the most part, and they all reacted the same way. And that's a lot of times the markets move together. So it was just a shit day in the market for everything, not necessarily just Clove. I guess that's the point that I want to nail home, and I think you're going to get days like that. The market's been running green for a while now. That's natural, especially when you had all the news surrounding Tesla. And the big sell off there, and you're going to see kind of an overreaction, and the market's following. So I'm still expecting we're going to bounce back off this. So next thing I wanted to talk about, AGC. Okay. I wish I had a bigger position. I mean, I I had been accumulating. Okay, I had some calls and shares and everything else. You guys know we've been talking about AGC on here for probably about 2 or 3 weeks now. I had been saying that I thought this was going to be the next kind of like VIH type play. You had this SPAC with 41 million float size and high short interest, pending news. They still haven't even dropped the news of when the merger is going to take place. It looks like yesterday's move was sparked by, and I can't find my news. Oh, there we go, right here. Yesterday's news. But again, with any of these short squeeze plays that are already trading above max pain, you get a little bit of a catalyst behind it and you start to see movement. So yesterday, it looks like, and I can't even find the news on here, there was some sort of expansion. I talked about this before. The company that they're expanding with, or that they're merging with, is kind of like a mixture of DoorDash and Uber and like all these other apps combined in one. So like if you're out in that area and you need to get a ride or get some food delivered or whatever you need, um, that's who you're going to. The company's called Grab. But anyways, so there was also a big article on Seeking Alpha yesterday with a price target of $55 on AGC. And there's also been some speculation on AGC that they might announce the merger, I think today or tomorrow. Okay, so a lot going on here. If you jumped in already, I actually sold half my calls yesterday. I think I sold about 25% of them on this pop. And then I didn't catch the top, but once it came down, I sold another 25%. I decided to hold half because the 50% that I sold was up over like 700%. So I'm playing with house money now with that other half, and I'm going to keep holding because if we look at the option chain on this one, where are we at? It still hasn't really loaded up the way I'd like to see it. Okay, there's still, this is pretty significant open interest for a 40 million float. It looks like there's enough to maybe get some continuation as we move closer to options expiration next week. And who knows? I mean, they just extended the chain out some more today, out to 33. My initial target I was kind of eyeballing was going to be like this 28 range if it did start to move. But now you're looking at, some price targets of 55, more catalysts that could potentially be coming in. My options that I had originally went with were January's. And I mean, those things were up huge yesterday. So I'm still holding on to these. I got these 1250 strikes here. And I don't know. If we see a dip, I may even jump back in, and try to get back on, because especially seeing that there's so much more going on with this thing. It's still let's pull up the some of this other. Looks like we got a super chat right on, Ross Lowe. I appreciate it. As AGC was a hit yesterday. Yeah, it's let me pull this up. Thank you, I appreciate it. So looking at Ortex data on AGC, 33% short interest, still high. Cost to borrow is at 90 now. Okay. So it's still increasing. Utilization's at 99%. Days to cover is still low, which is high, but if you look at the type of volume that's been rolling in here, yesterday was the first day that we saw volume here. 40 million where the float got traded. You take that on average, the share, it's going to take longer for shorts to get out when it's time. So I think, AGC's not done. I still think that it's got some legs in it. It happened a lot quicker than I thought. I was like I said, my initial thoughts on this was PROG was going to run first. AGC was probably going to happen within the next 2 months. That's why I went with January options. I wish it would have waited a little bit before popping, because I was hoping on rolling some PROG into there, but hey, I'm happy with it. But I do think that this one's still going to get some legs and keep moving. I really do. So moving on, take a look at PROG real quick. See what's happening here. This is the daily chart. Volume still kind of falling off a little bit, but it's still holding its own. It's still holding this this kind of right here in this $3.50 range. Max pain on that one right now. I should say this too. One other point that I kind of wanted to make, like with AGC, max pain's been slowly rising. It's like trying to chase the stock, which is what we, typically, the ones that I'm noticing that continue to run is when, not only are they trading above max pain, but it's almost like this game where max pain's chasing it upwards. And max pain's rising now. So AGC was at 10, now it's at 11. And that's the same thing that we saw with PROG. When PROG first started running, when we were talking about it on here, way back here, max pain was at $1 and PROG was trading at 2. And that's what kind of drew me into it. It was like, okay, it's trading at double. Max pain's slowly been creeping up on PROG. It went up to 2. Now it's at 250. So, I still, if we look at the option chain, I still think PROG is the most intriguing play out of all of these. We got a, 120 million float, 129 million, somewhere around there. And, really we just want double digit options, calls outweighing puts. And right now we're looking at, way more than that. We got 29,000 over 4, 34,000 over 2, 24,000 over nothing, pretty much 36 over 4. So the calls are definitely outweighing the puts. We have the $3 and the $3.50 strike in the money. I really think, and we're just getting closer and closer to November 19th. We got to see a push over 4. We definitely don't want to see this thing start dropping back down to 250. Otherwise, if and when that happens, I'll be cutting and getting out, because that max pain, as we all know, with all these other stocks, can really screw things up and start getting this thing pinned. And especially, like, here's another point I'd like to make: 283% IV on this one. Okay, so you're looking at, in relation to CLOV, 100% IV. Like, this is where I'm saying the incentive is here to try to pin this stock, not really, something like CLOV, but that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I think PROG, on the option side, has major potential to still squeeze in the next 9 days. PROG also has earnings today, I believe. Let's double check here. Earnings scheduled for November 10th, which is today. And I'm just trying to see if it's before or after. I'm pretty sure it's after hours. But I just want to make sure. Yeah, it looks like it's after the bell. Okay, so PROG should be reporting after the bell today. So we may see some increased movement leading in today, maybe a little bit of extra volume, or it could be that the earnings gives us the volume push we needed and it starts moving tomorrow. But I'm really bullish on PROG right now. Once this thing starts running this time around, I'm thinking it's going to push at least to about 750, just based off the options chain and how close we are to options expiration right now. So, not much happening right now on the volume wise. Looks like it's only at 658,000. Yeah, so that was AGC and PRAGUE. Still probably my top two, squeeze plays that I'm interested in. I also saw a couple other ones as I was doing some research that I'll go over in a second too. Let me catch up in the chat. Saw yesterday Charles Payne joined the Apes. Didn't say how much he bought, but he did say he bought GME and AMC. Yeah, he's been doing a lot, interviewing cores and trades, and I think even he's been having like a bunch of other people on there too. But seems like he's really taken on the AMC community. And yeah, I saw that too. That yesterday he said he bought some just to support. He bought some GameStop and AMC. Pete, what's up? Good morning. JJ says, anyone buying the Fubo dip? Okay, so CRN. Yeah, I just talked about that one. I think you saw it too. I know I'm way behind in the chat, but yeah, I think AGC is still in the middle of it now. With a lot of, I should say this though. The reason why I cut half and the reason why I always take profits is this could have been the run. It very well could have been. We've seen this happen with so many other stocks where now they just start pinning it and whittling it down closer and closer and closer. But, based on the numbers and that we still have a catalyst that could be upcoming in the next couple of days or whatever, I think it's possible. And, my original thesis why I was in this one was that there's a potential catalyst coming in the next 2 months. So, rumor has it that it could be coming this week, but I'm still like my options that I have are January's. So, I got some time to wait this out too. Steve the Baker says market is at all-time highs, but so many of the stocks I hold are not even close to all-time highs. CLOV, TWLO, FVRR, PLTR. When is the money going to flow into these growth plays? It's always, it's just a cycle, right? So money will move from one to the other, and all of a sudden you'll see pharmaceutical companies all start moving together, and then you'll see all the growth stocks start moving together. And I think, a lot of these growth plays will have their day again. And some of them aren't moving for different reasons, obviously, right? Like I think CLOV, kind of, again, getting that meme status back in June, kind of, got it into this zone where this one's being manipulated. So, I mean, I think CLOV could run independently of a lot of the other growth plays, and I also think it could be held back when the growth plays start running because of that. So it's kind of, it's not only a growth play anymore, it's also a meme stock. Like it or not, I don't feel like it is. I know some people get mad when you say that, but it is what it is. It's like it's tied in with the meme stocks. It moves with GameStop and AMC. So Turts, man, I keep seeing you talk about TTD, man, and I'm getting so much. So the trade desk, and I know I've talked about this. So I think every time Turts brings it up, I've talked about it, and I don't know why I never got back in. But this was a stock that I used to play all the time, and even had going way back. This is where I first got into it, and this has had some Tesla. This was trading at 100. I think I don't remember when I sold, but I just kind of shaved a little bit off, added on this dip. This is a 3-year look too. And then at that stock split, like I love the trade desk long term. But yeah, man, this is I used to love playing options on the trade desk too. I just never it hasn't been on my radar lately this year. Glad you're hitting on it though. Just trying to catch up with you guys. Yep, PROG after the bell, so I'm way behind. All right, there we go. Noah says waking up 3 hours ago was a bad idea. Man, I did that the other day too. Sometimes I just get up and I can't go back to sleep, and then I'll just I don't want to wake my wife up or anyone else. So I'll go sit on the couch and kind of just start looking stuff up on my phone, and then, you know, hopefully doze back off. But there's some days where I'm just up too damn early. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, so I went over PROG and AGC, but these plays that we looked at yesterday. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. There is one other play that unfortunately I kind of missed the boat on. I did grab some yesterday, but if you guys remember, I was talking about Big Five Sporting Goods back here, and I never grabbed any. It was kind of like right when it broke above max pain and had the high short interest, and I was like, hey, here's a squeeze play that I think is ready to take off, this and that. And sure as shit, they were announced the dividend. This thing jumped up to 42. We saw it pull back, but yesterday I came in and grabbed some of the dip that I saw, because if you look at Big Five, kind of fits into that same mold I'm talking about, where I feel like you have a better opportunity even if you're jumping in, but it's Max Payne's trailing it. So Max Payne was at about 20 back here when I started, popped up on my radar. So Max Payne was way down here at 20, and it was trading above Max Payne. Then Max Payne went up to 25. Now Max Payne's at 30. So it's starting to trail the play, and we're not seeing a decrease in short interest, which tells me that the stock still has plenty of room to keep moving up. 40% short interest, 34% of the float on loan. Cost to borrow was still low, but it's starting to increase. It's at 31% on average today. And utilization's at 96%. So, plus you have the whole dividend thing here happening with Big Five. So, yesterday I did grab a little bit in, where were we at? I want to say kind of in here. And then I ended up staying in it and just holding instead of day trading it. And because this is one that I think very small position, but and I didn't grab options because the chain is already kind of high. But then now that I look at it, IV's pretty high right now. But I don't know. I didn't want to go too far out. I just figured I'd play this one with shares. But the option chain for a 20 million float, which is what Big Five has right now. These are, again, significant numbers. And it wouldn't shock me to see this thing run to 60 if it in the next week or two. If now I'm not saying Big Five's running to 60. I'm saying it wouldn't shock me based on the chain, but it's gonna need some volume. Kind of taking a spill this morning here, but this is another one that, again, trading above max pain, high short interest, kind of has everything going for it. It's got a little bit of a catalyst there with the dividend thing. And max pain right now is at $30. So this is another one that I think has some potential right now. And that brings me kind of to the next one. So yesterday we were talking about like BBIG, or actually that was 2 days ago. ADR was the one that popped up yesterday. And that's why I keep kind of looking at max pain on these. And I know I keep talking about it, but it's really, I would rather get into these plays once I have confirmation that we're above it and we're moving past it and it's not a thing anymore. And so like with ADR yesterday, we saw, I think max pain moved to 750, down from 10. We did see a lot of action in pre-market, but then it started falling down pretty quickly. And, I was kind of trying to look for a break to get up here to really jump in and say, okay, now we're getting that movement away from max pain. And I mean, shit, this thing ended up, it's down here now again. And I would imagine it's going to get pinned now below 750. So it's kind of just following that same thing. BBIG was the other one. The other day it looked like maybe it was ready for a breakout. But again, max pain's 450. I think this was this day right here, and it was kind of came up, and I was saying I want to see it break above 5 and hold above 5 before looking for an entry point. I want to see that it's and I'm only saying this not as a day trade, but as swing trades. Like if you're gonna hold some of these squeeze plays overnight, that's the main thing I'm looking for, is make sure that we're trading above max pain. Otherwise, just treat them as day trades. And BBIG, sure enough, it couldn't hold the 5, and now we're seeing it kind of get whittled back down, and it's in that same range where they're just going to try to keep pinning it. And it's not that it's going to get pinned forever. I mean, max pain's only a thing until it's not, right? But right now it is on some of these stocks, and I'd rather jump in when it's not. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat. Kenneth Wallace, what's up? Added more DraftKings February. So did I, actually. So that was on my list yesterday. So I don't know if I even got through it yesterday, but actually, no, what I did yesterday, I went January. I already have February calls, and so I went January calls just because, I don't know, I felt like I think it's gonna reverse soon. I picked up some AVXL $36 strikes for January yesterday. Grabbed some, even though IV's high, I grabbed some PROG $5 strikes for December yesterday. I got lucky because I did most of my buying. Let's see, I'll just show you on PROG, even though, not down here, but obviously because the market was, right off the open, everything was moving. And I usually try not to buy options in the first 5 minutes of market open. Like anyone who's ever waiting to, purchase options, and, because you can't get them until the bell. I always give it 5 minutes. Okay. I mean, unless you are absolutely certain this thing's and there's no way of being certain. And that's why I always wait, because it always feels like you see this first wick and it's like, oh shit, it's going to break. And then you want to jump in and buy. And then this can always happen. So I just always give it 5 minutes, kind of think about it and see what's happening. So luckily I started my purchases of everything I'm talking about somewhere around here. And by the time I got over to buy like my PROG, I was able to get in on this dip down here and some of the other ones. But, because yesterday, damn near everything got wrecked. But yeah, so I grabbed some PROG. I also grabbed some more CLOV calls for January. And then I actually, part of my list of what I was going to add on to yesterday was the AGC $14 calls for January. And so I ended up grabbing some. Again, it was like probably somewhere in here. And I thought I almost didn't do it because I'm like, this thing's already kind of moving around. And it ended up paying off pretty handsomely. So anyways, those were my buys yesterday. Just, you said you bought some DraftKings. I jumped in on some more DraftKings yesterday as well. Let's see here. Big Nate says Charles Payne's big on Big 5 too. Okay. Thomas O'Connell, what's up? Blue says you think Clove will dip today so we could buy more. I hope not. I don't know. I mean, I honestly think we're just waiting on a price target now. I don't know what else. I mean, it's shit. What else is going to make this stock move? We've seen bullish earnings. I mean, that was a great earnings call. I think I don't even know what the bear thesis would be anymore. It's like, so, and we're seeing institutional buying. I mean, everything's for a normal stock. I feel like, one, we would have a price target already, and two, this thing would have started flying after that earnings call, but just have to wait and see. But yeah, I hope the dips are done. I want to get as far away from 8 as we can at this point, even if that just means 9. Let's see here. So it's almost 6 a.m. I wanted to talk real quick about 2 plays that are kind of on my radar right now. I was looking over the Fintel squeeze list, and just the reason I was trying to look was because AGC started popping yesterday. PROG, I feel like, is like right in the middle of its squeeze. If all of a sudden we get decent earnings today, tomorrow it could go wild. So I'm kind of like, okay, where are we looking at next? And the 2 that I'm looking at right now is BTBT. Okay. Oh shit, it's already moving this morning. So BTBT was one. I'll pull up the daily chart on this one. You can see it's already kind of been, damn it. You can see it's already kind of been doing a little bit of a stair stepping. And this is what, going way back here to July, it was trading at about $4. We're at 12 now, but it does look like it's kind of consolidating. RSI is trading above 50. We got the MACDs looking decent, with all that technical stuff. But on top of that, 43 million float. Okay. Max pain is 12. So we're looking here, and we are trading above that right now. I mean, we're still in that range where it could be getting pinned there, and this may be off or not. But that's why I said it's on my radar. If BT crosses 13, I'm jumping in. That could be today, tomorrow, but that's when all, once we kind of like, I get confirmation like, hey, we're breaking away from max pain. This is it. $13 is when I'm jumping in. And if you take a look at the Ortex data on this one, 27% short interest. Cost to borrow is already insane. Even today, it's at 309 on average. Utilization's at 95. So again, it has all those fundamentals you're looking for in a in a squeeze play. And it's finally at that point where it's kind of trading above max pain at $12.30. It also looks to be having, like, where it could be ready to have another technical breakout. It just kind of has everything going for it right now, and I think this may be like the next one. So BTBT is probably, this is one that I have on my watch list now. If I see this thing break above 13, that's when I'll be looking to jump in. I was checking out the options on it. In terms of the option chain, it looks like CLOV's getting a little bit of volume right there. Let me just make sure. Got some news on CLOV. Let's put BTBT on pause for a second. Clover Health strengthens presence across Georgia with new Medicare Advantage network contracts. 5,000 primary care physicians and specialists in network facilities ease access local care for Georgia members. I don't know how much. Got a little volume coming into the stock. Let's see here. So basically, strengthens presence across Georgia with new Medicare Advantage network contracts. So is that? Oh, okay. So they got some contracts with some. Looks like they got some contracts with some other medical centers, and so with 5,000 primary care physicians, which should help them. That's probably going to be more lives under management, I would imagine, for the Clover Assistant, and also help them with their direct contracting stuff. So that is pretty decent news. That should help them tremendously with their expansion in Georgia. So, yeah. Skip says he's heard the radio advertising for Clover in Atlanta. Damn, so this BTBT is starting to run already. But like I said, I'd rather, when any of these plays, these squeeze plays at least, I just, I don't mind getting in at 13 as opposed to 12.31 if the ultimate end game is going to be at flying past 21 or up to 33 or whatever it may be. Like, I'm willing to forfeit that 70 cents just to make sure I'm getting in at a decent, once it's above that max pain level and it's ready to roll. Now, like I said, with the 20 million float, or I'm sorry, 40 million float, I think anything like 5,000 or more. But if you look at this 1250 strike, damn. All right, so this actually changes stuff for me now that I'm looking at it. That's huge. 38,000 open interest at 1250. The problem here is this, and I'll just there's going to be so much pressure trying to hold this stock below 1250 because of all this open interest. It's almost going to work like max pain. Like max pain might be 12 or whatever. Not only are they going to try to pin this thing to 12, it's going to be hella hard for it to get above 1250. Now, that being said, I guess maybe that even goes to show even more. Like if it breaks above 13, that's when you want to be a buyer. That's when, because that's a ton of open interest in here. Wow. I mean, if you wanted to play a lotto play on this or something and just grab a couple options, I mean, it expires in 9 days though. I don't know. I'd rather just probably do the shares. Yeah. I think I'll stick to the original plan. Just crosses 13, become a buyer. That's what I'm looking at there. And then the only other play that I was really had eyeballing, which is more of a kind of a retail favorite, is Skills. I mean, I know Skills has been running for quite some time. Almost since about a month now, when it bottomed out at 797. And now it's closer up to like what I think it closed yesterday at 1240. But again, I was kind of looking at this one. Max pain on Skills is 1150 right now. It's trading at 1240. You look at the Ortex data on this one, and this looks to be an intriguing squeeze play. Short interest not as high, 21%. Cost to borrow slowly creeping up, but 99% utilization. So it's starting to get there. Cost to borrow on average at 16 right now. I think this one, if it starts moving, I mean, you got, room to go to 24 before hitting significant resistance somewhere up here, and then all-time highs of 46. So I mean, Skills has a lot going for it, I think. And it's a retail favorite that if it starts moving, I could just see Skills starting to pop. And like I said, it's above max pain right now. So this is another one that I'm just going to keep eyeballing. So right now, Skills and BTBT are kind of on my watch list for the next squeeze plays. But, my two big ones, like I said, AGC and PROG. That's what I'm in right now. I think those have the most potential for right now, and BGFV. All right, my phone's going wild. Let me just make sure I'm not missing out on something. All right. Just looking around the markets right now, it does look like, damn, AMC's trading a little lower, 39.10. The SPY is looking to gap down. So that ended yesterday at 467.38. Looks like it's trading at about 465.90 right now. GameStop down $1. It's at 205. Closed yesterday at 206.60. And BGFV starting to rally back. It's at 39.99. This is another one. I know I mentioned earlier, kind of the two stocks that I was going to be looking at today for day trade opportunities were RNXT. A lot of volume in there right now, 9.5 million on a 6 million float. BTB, looks like we're at 6.8 million volume on a 35 million float. So these are the two that I'm going to be watching, but really I'm just going to kind of be focused on these more of these squeeze plays that we've been talking about already, and some of the other ones, ADER, SDC, BBIG, because they all, I have them all on my watch list because they all have the potential to move. But even if you feel like maybe you're late to the game on Big Five, Definitely some great day trade opportunities in this one with the loaded option chain the way it is. You know, it's creeping back up to $40. If it crosses 40, um, you know, and we're getting close to this November expiration as it crosses 40 and starts moving, you might be able to get in on a gamma squeeze. And so I would just kind of keep an eye on this one and, you know, look for those entry points like we talked about in the past. And, you know, I kind of keep mentioning, like, even if you just have the 50 SMA up and you're just looking for, you know, breakouts above the 50 SMA, that'll usually give you some good room. And if you play it a little looser, um, you know, might be in for some big rides. So I think BGFV, you know, definitely has some potential this morning as well. Not a lot of volume right now though, only 134,000 volume in this stock, but it is a relatively small float. Let's see. Zeke says, with having a 8-cent EPS, do you agree that there's a good chance Clove might be profitable in quarter 1 after we can collect claims on members after January 1st, as long as now credit? Yeah, absolutely. That's what, like, you know, I mean, the company said it too, right? They said they fully expect to be profitable next year, and that right now they're operating at break even. So I think, and they've been in this kind of this like under promise over deliver thing for a while now, and so I truly believe that we're gonna end up seeing, you know, Clove announce profitability, probably even in quarter 1, because at that point, like, you know, more to your point too, now the open enrollment's gonna be over, right? And so you're gonna see however many new lives under management they have. They're operating at a 3.5 star. That's going to be baked in. You know, they're also going to have another full year of data to add into those cohorts that they were talking about. So now you have a 4th year. And if you can now get 4 years worth of data showing that every cohort continuously is reducing their MCR and outperforming the previous year's MCR or the following year's MCR, like, it, you know, that they're trending in the right direction in these cohorts that are being managed by the tech. Yeah, I think the rate they're going right now, I think we will see profitability. You know, probably in Q1. Let's see here. JJ says every time it runs. Oh, you guys are talking about GRE. Yeah, I mean, GRE's one of those ones that I kind of have, like, you know, in the corner of my, you know, just watching. It's on there, but it's kind of the same thing. Like, you know, if we just look at GRE, it's unfortunately it's kind of a squeeze play, right? So Max Payne's at 25. You know, if we look at Ortex on that one, for some reason the Grease Ortex data still is all jacked up, like ever since they merged over. Um, I don't know why that's not showing up. Let me see if I can get this right. Yeah. And also, pull up the options chain real quick. Does anyone know how big the Gree float is? Just off the top, like, if I know Turt, I know you're in there. If you got that information, I will come back to it. Let's see, Gree's starting to move right now, though. Bank of America says Clove is years away from profit. Years. Bank of America hates Clove, though. Cohen wrote a crap article. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the company said they're basically operating at break even right now. I mean, and they were even factoring in. They were talking about an MCR of 90 to 95 for next year is what they're estimating. So I don't know. It's just FUD. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. You know, it's like, but if you you know, I don't know. If you listen, we listen to the earnings call. We look at the numbers. Every single earnings call with Clove, earnings or revenue's been increasing. The technology's working. It's just like it was that earnings call was nothing but positives. I don't understand how they could say that it's not going to be profitable for years. And the company again has pretty much been over delivering on all their promises that they've made, and they're saying they're going to be profitable next year. So yeah. Oh, Cuckoo Bird, thank you. I've been sitting here trying to look it up and figure out what's going on, and I'm getting kind of distracted. But 4.5 million float on Gree. Okay, so yeah, I mean, if that's what 643,000 shares on loan, quick math, I'll just say that's what, maybe over 10%, maybe 15% of the float on loan, something like that, if that's the case. So I mean, it's not. I don't know if it's necessarily a squeeze play, but I also think that Gree may be one of those ones too. That's probably like I was talking about earlier with the tinfoil hat on. That I think there's some hidden short interest in. SPRT was heavily manipulated. They merged that thing over, hammered it back into the ground. So I don't know. Another highly manipulated stock though. Oh man. Uh, let's see. Josh Stewart said, "I know this is gonna make some people mad, but I wouldn't mind them pushing down to 6. I need to get my average down." Not me. I'm done. I'm done averaging down. I'm ready to fly. Let's see it. But you may get your wish. One thing actually before we put AGC back up. Let me put this up real quick. So Clove. Just want to point this out. So this was going back to February, right? And I know this is kind of small, but you have earnings here. Stocks trading at 10, they beat it down to 630 over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and then it starts its reversal. Ended up reaching a high of 1181, almost a 50% increase. Then we actually had really good earnings in May, I thought. And they ended up knocking this thing down. Where we at? It was kind of already on its way down, but it did come back down and touch around that 630 level again before taking off. You know, I'd like to say we're done getting beat down, but who knows? You may get your wish. All right. Ecom, what's up? Ecom says 14% short interest. All right. Let's see here. Bitcoin's ripping, says Michael. PROG floats 116 million. Okay, what did I was saying 129. Yeah, for some reason my I usually just use Schwab for my float data. Schwab doesn't even show a green float. But yeah, Schwab saying total float's 129 right now. But yeah, I think I'm thinking Prog's ready. Prog's ready to leap right now is what I'm thinking. Damn, my wife just texted me. I guess the Cal USC game this weekend is going to be postponed. Almost the entire Cal football team has COVID. Damn. Kevin Lynch says with Max Payne next week at 9, could we run a little next week? Is it at 9 for next week? Let me see. It's showing it at 8:50 now, but yeah, so it is up there for next week. Yeah, I could see that. Absolutely. But those numbers change too, right? So the only thing, it all has to do with premiums, when they're bought, how much money's in there, what the open interest is of calls versus puts. So I mean, if we see a bunch of bullish options play coming in, and depending on what strikes and everything, that could adjust it, or bearish options play, Thomas says not being able to trade options after hours is the worst thing ever. Yeah. I know there's been so many times where I've like either wanted to jump in a play or get out, and then also, where I end up selling like shit. My BKKT, I cut more than 95%, 90% of my call contracts on that first day of the run up, because I didn't want to get stuck with them after hours, and I missed out on a lot more potential. But still decent profit, or actually amazing profit. So I'm not complaining. I'm not trying to sound like I'm complaining, but it always sucks to look back and see what you could have made. Thomas says Prague's going to run today. Yeah, I don't know. I think it can obviously go either way. I don't think it's going to get pushed down. You might see it get attacked. We've seen Prague, consistently. They're trying to push this thing under 3. They've been trying for, days now. And, we looked at the option chain yesterday, and it's like if they can get it below 3, which they haven't even come close, but they're trying to whittle this thing down below 3, because it'll almost have like a reverse gamma squeeze at that point, where below 3, now you're going to start seeing a bunch of shares getting unhedged. But the stock's been holding pretty steady around this range, and I could see maybe one more day of kind of this price action where maybe we even close closer to 335, and then after the earnings take off. Okay, that's one scenario I could see playing out. Or at some point today, the volume just starts pouring in as people want to get in before the earnings call, and maybe we break 350. But we're getting so close to options expiration now, 9 days away, that I really think even breaking 350 and holding above 350 might do it now. I still think 4 is where like the true gamma squeeze will kick off, but I don't know. I mean, these things are so crazy. If we were to like close the day above 350 and kind of hold that level, every single day now, Delta's going to continue to increase on these. Where we at here? Delta's going to continue to increase on these ones that are in the money, and decrease on these ones out of the money. And now we're looking at this 350 strike with a point that's basically a 0.57 delta. We put that in the money, and that jumps up to like 70%. That's a lot of hedging that's going to happen, and a lot more shares here that are going to need to be hedged. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm a these things are so crazy. If we were to like close the day above 350 and kind of hold that level, every single day now, Delta's going to continue to increase on these. Where we at here? Delta's going to continue to increase on these ones that are in the money, and now we're looking at this 350 strike with a point that's basically a 0.57 delta. We put that in the money, and that jumps up to like 70%. That's a lot of hedging that's going to happen, So I don't know. PROG's looking strong. Really, really liking it right now, especially with the potential catalyst this afternoon. Michelle, what's up? Yeah, it is 8:50 for next week. The Taurus is ready for the PROG call today. Hell yeah. Let's see. Is it true that BlackRock is the company who is shorting it? You talking about shorting PROG? Or shorting who? I saw BlackRock made a huge purchase on Clove. We went over that a little while ago. We were looking at the Fintel data on that one. But it's 6:25. I'm gonna sign off here. So I made my kids lunch yesterday, and now they said that they like my sandwiches better, so I gotta start making lunches. Lately, my wife has been, getting the lunches packed up while I kind of get breakfast ready for them and everything else. But they requested my sandwiches today, so I'm gonna go help them get their lunches packed and everything and get ready for school. And thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate it. Just a quick recap. Day trade ones that are on my watch list today: RNXT and BTB. Okay, but also keeping an eye on BGFV. I think that's got a lot of room to run. That's big five. I think it's a great squeeze play too, so I would play that one maybe a little bit looser if you jump in on a day trade and you see it taking off. I think BGFV has some room in the options chain and with the short data to really make a big explosive move. Obviously, AGC and PROG, two squeeze plays that we've been in for a couple weeks now. But also, I'm keeping my eye on skills and BTBT now. Those are going to kind of, hopefully we can close out a PROG or close out a AGC with some nice profits. I'm going to be looking to move into another squeeze, and those are the two I got on my radar. So you guys have a great day. Hopefully we'll see some better movement in the markets overall today, and especially in Clove. I'll see you guys tomorrow.